don't stand for anything.
They do. They stand for the ever increasing concentration of power, as far as I understand. And as far as I understand, Trump is pissing off a lot of very wealthy people who don't who don't benefit from any of the things that he's done and stuff like that. Yeah, like I was saying yesterday, this Steel Bang, the family that I know, and so I think caring or really holding these people accountable is gathering together all the billionaires that he pissed off, along with people on the left and are just compassionate people all together that don't want ICE wandering the streets, together along with the good old Texan Western Virginia boys who are like, don't tread on me, don't you dare steal our guns. So there has to be like a movement where you have, I don't know, people that really care about America citizens having freedom of movement and freedom of expression, right? That's going to be a problem this summer. I see that. I mean, I guess what I've identified a problem here. Problem is that different camps of people have different problems with Trump. And the only way to move forward is to unify these folks, I guess. And how that looks, I don't know. It's just, I'm thinking out loud.
I know exactly how it looks. It looks, the way we should paint that picture is under federal RICO statutes. Like a simple full stop. You guys know who, do you guys really know who Todd Blanche is? This was Trump's personal criminal defense attorney during like the federal election case in Washington, D.C. against Trump, the classic documents case in Florida, what's the other one? The hush money trial in New York. He was his private defense attorney through all that stuff, and now he's the guy that's running the entire Department of Justice right now.
And how resistance in Canada looks is we have an ICE office actually here in Calgary at American Consulate General, and there have been people protesting outside of the Consulate General saying, get those fuckers out of here, we don't want any ICE, even the department, we don't want even ICE paper pushers here. So that's one thing Canada can do. And again, it's nothing to do with the average American citizen or even the average American politician. God knows how many people Trump's pissing off politicians too. Resistance also might look like really educating those folks that are traditionally what would you say, suspicious of, as far as I understand, the Southeast USA, from maybe southern Ohio to northern Florida, there's a particular geography in the United States that's very suspicious of specialists, but also authority. If the Democrats can send people down into this area of America and really explain to the folks on the ground what Trump is doing, so that they can operate through facts and not just conspiracy theory. Because I think a lot of the reason Trump gained power is because of the conspiracy theorists. I don't want to call them hillbillies or something like that, but let's say more gullible, less educated folks. Anyways, they should be given very good education and facts. They should be spoken with.
They should be spoken with. They should be spoken with. These people are so pathetic.
His face,
I think resistance looks like. All you really have to do, for just a regular person, is show up, make yourself presence, and speak your mind. Be sincere, be honest, be honest. People will listen to what you have to say, whether they agree with you or not. I think that's what everybody should be doing, like whether you're Republican or Democrat or whatever. I think that's what everybody.
Yeah, I don't see Trump as a Republican. I don't see him that way at all.
Well, then we really can't get much out of this because his ideas and his leadership is definitely leading that party.
Yeah, so, but he's not a Republican.
Yeah, understand the fundamental there, but that should be then about the cycles of parties in America. And when was the last time, or we need to reinvent the party structure or break it. But his behavior should kill the American Republican Party as we know it, because of all the contradictions. But we need to pin his behavior on the fucking Republicans in Congress that are writing the blank check for him to deconstruct America. Like Project 2025 needed these Republicans to become little sycophants and fraudulent pussies.
I heard rumors he wants to like nationalize you guys' elections. Dude, that's fucking scary as fuck. Like,
wait, yeah. Don't give us your feelings about it. We're living it, and we know the depth of what he said. And then he said it. To whom he said it? Do you know who Dan Bongino is?
No, I was asking you to educate me on this.
Then here we go. Dan Bongino was a podcaster who was like a minor league Joe Rogan, who for years said that they needed to go after the culprits in the Epstein files, release the files. You know, Trump get elected because Trump said he would do it, he would release it, so he captured all these people's audiences. And then he made Dan Bongino like a fucking official in the FBI or some shit. He recently left the administration, tried to start up his podcast again, and his very first fucking guest was Trump within the last week. And Trump, that's where Trump said, in the Trumpian way, not that he was going to do it, but that the Republicans, back to this whole subject, why he is a Republican, because he's using the Republican backbone and network, because he's asked the Republicans in some, he didn't say in 15 states, he didn't say in 15 cities, but in 15 places, that they need to do what they can to rig the election for him. Yeah, and basically make it so that it doesn't matter what the outcome is, the Republicans maintain their death grip on control. So that's why I'm saying there's nuance to it, and we understand that you're offended, Matthew, by the fascist turn in America, but maybe we can get some other people's opinions.
Hold on really quick, just so Dan Bongino was appointed as deputy director, and him and Cash Patel were both doing the same fucking thing, obviously. So this is why, like, when I talk with people about this stuff, and we're not even talking about the Epstein files at this point, like anything else that we're looking at, like if I just look at snapshots of his pardons, right, or snapshots of things Trump has said over the last 15 years, right, and why would I vote for that kind of person, that kind of stuff, right? Those are some of the snapshots, and these snapshots are very important. And so what he just said about Dan Bongino and that turn of events and that timeline of freaking facts in combination with Kash Patel, and then having Pam Bondi be someone that has a history with Trump from freaking back in, I don't know, the 90s, and like a campaign donation and her turning the
Did you cut out? I don't know if it's just me.
No, I think he cut out.
So David, if I get you right, I'll try to, like I was just reading a little bit about this, nationalizing the elections. So in the end, the effect might be that the Republican Party has great control over how these votes are counted, and
Sort of, just think about it this way. To your point, before any authoritarian can take control of a democracy, they take the distributed voting and they centralize it.
in order
So Putin still holds elections, but he controls the outcome.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. That's what I was worried about. No shit, eh? Man.
Well, the next thing to look at is our wonderful Tulsi Gabbard in her administration history. And now that she's the director of national intelligence and wants to serve Donald Trump and feed his rewriting of history from the 2020 election to pretend that he actually won it. So she was used in person to help steal the ballots from Georgia last week. This is very un-American shit.
Yeah, very much so. Very undemocratic. Yeah.
And not that the National Security or Intelligence Director should be opening an investigation. That's for investigative units like the FBI or special prosecutors. It's this extra institutional project that she's going on to go dig up on her own support for a conspiracy theory. That's fucked up.
Yeah. So yeah, that is fucked up. And it is amazing how Trump uses these sort of small time, I suppose big time podcasters that have the audience, the conspiratorial people that are into conspiracy theories big time. They're really going after the most paranoid and least educated people. What's her name? She's kind of a Trump fan. I think she's getting back. She's getting information. She's getting support from some of his supporters. So it's not good. I think the RCMP should look into this. To what degree there's been influence coming up from the South, but again, not from Americans, but from very particular people. Yeah.
Okay, so when they look into it, what are they gonna do?
Yeah, that's the thing. One small, fuck.
You know that intelligent communities are constantly supposed to be doing this in the background anyway. So suggesting that they should look into is, again, Matthew, a nothing burger. What about the separatist movement in a different province that has all your oil and gas? That's already been happening. There's already been meetings.
Yeah.
So looking into it,
Yeah.
maybe because it's treasonous. So what Trump uses is unofficial meetings. These are just some people who are having it.
this shit around and postpone the truth and just keep pushing stuff off? Honey?
Well, I mean, I just recommend you just check out what's going on. Like, not everyone's an attorney, right? So, if you're watching the Jack Smith hearing, though, Jack Smith was, what the hell is his exact?
Not everybody's an attorney.
Important position if you don't know who this guy is. And I know you're in Canada, but Jack Smith
He's the guy that
is.
he was a special counsel appointed to investigate Donald Trump's criminal behavior. About that,
You were kind of jumbled there. I don't know if I'm coming through clear. Am I coming through clear?
You're okay, honey. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so Jack Smith, he's an attorney. He was in the U.S. Department of Justice. He was the acting U.S. attorney and head of department's public integrity section.
Oh, God. Yeah.
He's the one who basically had enough dirt on Trump about the January 6th insurrection that would have convicted him if he were allowed to go to trial. And so this is all just resurfacing again. And there was a public hearing from Jack Smith while he was cross-examined by the opposing teams as well as questioned by supporters, right? And it's just amazing to witness.
Do you think Jack Smith has been compromised, or do you think he's been rid like Stara, like he has no power?
I don't know at this point. I think everyone's compromised, man. I mean, it's pretty easy to find. If you have kids, you're fucked.
They're all compromised.
I mean, I wouldn't have said that 10 years ago, but now I'm just like, dude, that's the reason I wouldn't run for office. Is because I care about people in my life.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why he doesn't run for office, because he cares too much about the people in his life.
The whole thing about the insurrection impact as our capital and the criminal cases that came after that, or at least some of the criminal cases that came after that, it was Jack Smith who was leading those investigations. That guy, that's the guy who.
I hate that. I mean, we're at this point now where it's like, I don't know. I can't get too nervous. It's scary. It's just weird to relax. How much is
I think you're very partially right, honey, in this. Let me state very clearly. I feel like in Israel, and this is just from having friends there and spoken with
Hey, just
people.
really quick, just to be clear, I know you're gonna finish. I'm sorry for interrupting. I don't mean like the Jewish people. I don't even mean the inhabitants of Israel at this point, because I'm sure there's plenty of fine people living there. It's the government and the structure
Yeah.
and the style and what they're doing and the power figures and this money and war and all the things and all that freaking intelligence and tech. Yeah, freaky.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, I think there's certain parties within. I think it's the Lakuts or something, but they have a very specific way of management. It's not one of trust. It's more one of control and using tech. Right. So Netanyahu, I don't believe that guy trusts anybody. So it's not like control, especially using technology for control, and I see that influence definitely in the United States. And you know, just so I'm not being perceived as being anti-Semitic, there's millions and millions and millions of people in Israel that hate Netanyahu's guts. But it would be interesting to see how Netanyahu has influenced various publications and sort of shut down democracy, at least partially, similar to what the guy in Hungary has done, and how these ideas are influencing Washington. Like, I see what you're saying, honey, for sure. For sure. Anti-Canadians? You know, I want to make clear, like, my sister's in Chicago, I run the States. My very personal concern with what's going on in the States is not that I'm anti-American whatsoever. It's just that, you realize that it's Washington, and sometimes affects us not in the market, and then affects the States. So blatantly has been happening. And like people, like rational people are like, no, you're just weaponizing the Holocaust. It's not a normal position to have. And then people are like, actually it's more complicated than that. Like I don't know, call me fucking naive, but like I don't need to like understand like geopolitical, framework of, Israel, right? To know that, like, seeing a kid get shot in the face, right, is wrong, right? I just don't think I need to know that to have a, we probably shouldn't do that as a society. But, like, the problem is there are people who want to make it so more complicated to understand why I got shot in the face. You have to go read this book from 1952. It's like, no, I don't really know. I don't think I do. Yeah, NPR wrote a really interesting article on this about how months last year, Trump was really weaponizing, in the name, right? He said protecting Jewish students as a means of bringing in, the starting of a police state. So if you really think about it, this was a fascinating article. Is that in the name of being anti-Semitic, people who are definitely not Jewish, have a lot of these students that went to these Palestine, what do they call protests? They were actually Jewish, left-winger kids, bicycles, started as a outset, their annual pro-Palestine protests. Again, because the cultures, you can, how would I say, points of taboo are places of leverage, right? They can be leveraged, right? And it's no different from how Jews have been treated before in history, where minorities, right? The illegal Mexicans are being used to bring in tyranny, and then Jewish people, another group of minorities, are being used to bring in tyranny, but just in a different way. That's how I see it. Most American Jews say Trump is using anti-Semitism as an excuse to silence free speech at universities, right? And I think this year is going to be the year where they combine that with the ICE raids. Of course, always in the name of keeping America safe, right?
I mean, Ramisa
Ozturk and Mahmoud Khalil, weren't they both picked up by ICE illegally?
Yeah. But it's just, again, they're just using it as examples to spread fear, right? And then, intelligent Jewish people are like shaking their head, they're like, what the fuck? This is not going to be good for us.
I think there's I don't know, right?
Emotional dialogue. They'll have to use very black and white language, every possible trick in the book to stay in power.
Matthew, when is your truth-telling serum for politicians as in the form of perfume? When's that being released?
I don't know. I really apologize if I sound like arrogant or something like this. It's just the way I talk. I really don't mean to sound like that.
Hey Matthew, just so it's clear, I've never had a problem with you. I've always kind of appreciated your input when I hear it. It's not like I'm like in rooms like listening, like I'm like, oh, Matthew's speaking. I don't always you that closely, but I've never had a problem with you. But it's weird that over the last like week or a few days, I've heard you get a lot of flack. I don't know what's going on, dude. Just so you know, I'm like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Well, if you hang out with me long enough, too, just wait. I try not to be.
Yeah, I think there's a fatigue going on with people's emotional states.
Rich Bobby.
New ideas, right? And probably, I'll tell you, new ideas in a week more than people.
You angry.
So,
I ain't trying to bother with you.
So we are
You
definitely,
angry.
and we're still coping with.
I'm happy.
Like,
Leave me alone. I'm happy. Leave me alone. You angry. I ain't trying to argue with you. You angry. I'm happy. Leave me alone.
But where is it going? I don't know, man. With this, the AI is going to accelerate everything. And that Project Stargate, what is it? The size of Manhattan, honey? I don't know if you can look it up. I think it's the size of Manhattan, this AI factory, world's largest factory, or whatever, computer center.
Dude, I honestly, I kind of ignore that shit right now because there's so much else going on. I don't even want to think about water use for AI cooling and all that stuff. It's like, all of it, dude, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just when these fuckers start to leverage that stuff, when they really, really get it down, really know how to use AI and it continues to advance, I think that's... I'm not calling for revolution, but I mean, it would be fantastic if Project Stargate just ran out of power. Just like something. Long before it becomes too powerful.
Well,
I lose picture.
yeah, and what about this part? Like, I'm sure, Matthew, if you and I were billionaires, right? If we're allowed to be ourselves, we would be on the force. We would be for the empire. So, like, where are these rich guys that are badasses?
I don't know. I mean, maybe they know something that we don't. That's what I feel. They know. Maybe AGI's already been created, and they know that the only way to survive is to like secure as much power as possible. I don't know.
I mean, hopefully there's something going on where like, someone knows a lot, or maybe I'm just, hey, I'm not reading Wired and I'm not like tapped into these think tanks. Maybe there are a lot of good people doing a lot of good shit right now, billionaire class and rich guys with brokerage rights and power and this stuff.
Breaking from DOJ refutes to prosecute Epstein and anybody associated with him.
Requiring exactly no one.
Checks out.
It's those rednecks, man. This is not. like there are certain issues that if you bring up with people, they're just automatically going to turn off their mind.
One of the things that will never not be funny is whenever there's like an RNC event, Grinder or Praxis, it's just like, come on, like, you're not hiding it, dude. Why is it every time RNC comes to town, Grinder stops working? Like, I think along with Epstein, that's what the FBI should be focused on. Like, dude, well, like, it's just like, come on, dude, like, I don't get that. Like, the idea that they're scared to admit, like, I don't know, I kind of don't get this. Like, cool. I'd rather you beat yourself than, like, you having, like, the 1950s cartoon ass fucking life that's, like, bacon shit. Like, it's so weird. Like, their ability to hate and then secretly indulge in shit, it's just fucking wild.
The thing to be most worried about, I think, is if Trump really does start losing a lot of power. I think you could probably expect him and his buddies to like do some kind of false flag, and that'll give reason for people to like go with government shutdown, or I just see a manufactured emergency happening if Trump begins to lose power. I will not put it past them one bit. At all.
I guess the thing that boggles me a lot is just knowing that. Can I be heard? Or is it bad audio? Is it good?
Oh, we can hear you now.
It's just that obviously there's a lot of complicitness, right? Is that the word? Complicity? Complicitness. And also the Congress, Supreme Court, voters, and all of it. There's people watching this unfold and going along with it, right? And so I'm always like, who are these people? And are they?
Who are these people?
Gross misconduct. Like, why would you ever even associate yourself with that energy on purpose to such a degree? So what's going on here? Why are these people so fucking complicit?
We had this app, honey, in Canada called something Madison. It was a dating app, okay? And someone hacked into it. It was for like married people who want to find lovers of other married people, like affairs. It was an affairs app. Someone hacked into it and released all the names of the people involved in affairs. And apparently something like, I don't know, 80% of all the users in Canada were from Ottawa. And a vast majority of those people worked in politics and were lawyers. So it was kind of like,
So they're duplicitous.
Yeah, So I think they got a lot of dirt on each other. Very, very aggressive people, very ambitious people. And my only assumption is that maybe some Democrats have dirt, Trump's buddies have dirt on them too. Like, the Epstein thing for me is not a one-off event. It's more like of a culture, like a cultural thing, I'd have to say.
Well, I'm not even necessarily. See, the Epstein thing to me is like its own class, right? Like that's one bucket, and I know it all overlaps with stuff. But I mean, if you just look at like the things the guy runs on, the guy says in public how he's not diplomatic, how he's not articulate, how he's not charismatic, how he's not fit, how he's not handsome, how he's not well spoken, how he's disrespectful to women, how he says, I mean, like all of that, and then the pardons. Then the hypocrisy of the pardons in his illegal and nefarious ways that he pardons people because he's basically just financially involved with them and it helps him. Just that. I'm like, this is just a scam job. Like everyone's in on it.
Yeah. That's right. There will be pushback. There will be pushback. I think it's all going to come crashing down, honey, when he pisses off other powerful people, and they get together behind the scenes and decide, no, I love this guy. He's not real.
Right, but this is not what's going on right now. They all like I don't think most of those people think this is bullshit. And it's weird when I say they. I sound like a SNL skit or like some kind of just like someone making fun of me or me making fun. They, right? You know what? But it is because I don't know who I'm talking about.
Even after World War II, like Nazi officers and soldiers were hunted down for decades. They were hunted down.
Some, not all, Operation Paperclip. There was quite an extensive, go to Latin America, Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, stuff like that. Part of the American elite covered for a lot of these people. So, yeah, it's complicated.
There's that. Then there's the more extreme cases where, I don't know if you guys heard about this one, when Germany invaded Poland, it was Poland, I think. There's you can look it up, it's called, I think it's called Bloody Monday. And basically the Nazis went into this little town, and the army that was there retreated because they were a much smaller army, so they let the Nazis take over the town. And then there was some event where there was shots were being fired at the Nazi soldiers, and nobody knew like where the shots were coming from. There was this confusion, and so the Nazis were pointing fingers, they're being shot at, who's doing the shooting, and thought it was like some like Jewish resistance, something like this. So what they did as a result of that was they killed like 500 civilians, just people that were living in the town that had to live with their dirty men, women, children. They did that. That's Philadelphia and Detroit and shit. Yeah, they're extremely corrupt. You know, they don't want voter ID laws. You know, and because they don't want voter ID laws, that means they're criminals. That was like almost word for word.
He always does, doesn't he? He throws out the most radical idea, backtracks for a couple of weeks, throws it out a little bit more, sees what the response is, backtracks, throws it out, tries to establish new normals, right? It's kind of his method, right?
Don't be so reductive. We know what he does, and he does more than just that. So, sure.
Yeah. I'm just thinking out loud, David. Don't
Understood.
just
Just it just becomes an information space problem.
Okay.
I mean, you can write if you want to think out loud and process these things. I just want just a little bit more. A little bit more rigor, because these ideas matter, and it's not just because it's the first time you thought about it doesn't mean it's not more complicated than your thoughts.
Oh, I know it's more complicated than I thought, for sure. Just sketching.
So don't be reductive. That's my point. It's complicated.
Calorie.
pictures and the videos of these kids literally in cages. Their parents are nowhere to be found. There's grown ass adults with body armor like patrolling the area, like inside where the kids are. I mean, it's fucking like, what the fuck are they doing?
They're establishing paranoia and
See, like that. I got it now. Okay, so they're establishing, is it paranoia or is it just, they're just establishing fear? Because it's not even paranoia, it's just real.
but it's, so you have the real fear, and then you have like the greater concentric paranoia that
I'm paranoia.
Yeah, like say I want to go see my sister in Chicago.
Right, but is it paranoia?
I may just hand over my fucking cell phone at the border saying, hey, I like Trump here. You can check my social media. I'm not saying anything bad. And I just give it to them before they even fucking ask it from me, right? That's the new norm, right? That's what they want to establish. Don't step out of line. There should be, there's new taboos, which is like, don't have like this kind of leftist humanitarian sort of thought. Don't be anti-Trump. And there are certain things that you can say and can't say. And if you're not on our side, then you should worry.
Okay, so another thing, this is interesting, and it has nothing to do with who you are. It's just the language we use. I'm really curious because, again, I'm finding all of this now. I'm a hyperdrive lately. Even the way you just said that, you said, no, they don't want this kind of anti-Trump, blah, blah, blah. They want people who support Trump but are also fearful and compliant. So that's what it means to be fearful and compliant. But they don't present it as that's what they are. They're like, no, we're proud Americans. We're very confident in our government and what our leaders do for us and our nation. And it's like the opposite. They're literally being toyed with by the system and being trained to be compliant, fearful buddies. Yeah, it's fucking.
Let me give you an example of what I mean, honey. I remember the head of ICE, that guy that people say he wears like a Nazi fucking trench coat. He gave a speech and he said, today my speech is about choices. That lady or that man chose to be in the protest. They chose to get in the way of the cars. They chose yourself in, double down, because there's no way out, you know? And that's how I believe now. Again, you know, I'm stating the obvious and I'm speaking of generalities here, but I feel this is how they maintain loyalty. Because if this ship's going down, we're all going down with it, you know? I think that's something important to take into consideration. This loyalty to the party because of fear of retribution. Not your average IC agent, not your guy that just wants to do his fucking job. But people that have done like really bad stuff, you know?
Man, Infinity! Is that my man? Infinity? You backstab Patty. You backstab First Lady and GOAT. What did TC ever do to you?
Hi, Marcus. I haven't been looking at the.
TC's just running an events company. Oh, Marcus has got bad TDS too.
He's already gone.
Infinity, Trump lives in these people's head in a secret closet in the back. They can't stop thinking about Trump
Working on stuff.
all day
What are you working on,
long.
David?
Trump is in their
Trying to
fucking
have a search for
brains.
this school I'm building, so that people can search across different classes for. It's getting complicated. But
Yeah.
I'm up to added a tax class and how to take tests to relieve text anxiety. That's a little special one. But I've got history of technology, I've got the American political system, critical thinking, journalism, things that we're obviously talking about here. And we want something that's called cross-curricular connection.
My course is very, let me put it down here, www.perfumelessons.com.
Do you get deep into that type of stuff, man? You like what is it called when you add an additive to a fragrance in order to like illuminate it?
Oh yeah. You can combine fragrances if you like. I wouldn't. I would just wear the perfume as it is. It's been designed very specifically for a reason, but yeah, I'm a perfumer, so.
Yeah, I've been looking into that, man. It seemed like the Arabic men are just killing it online. You know, they've been dropping a lot of knowledge about how to get started in it and stuff like that. The products you're gonna need seem like it's real lucrative.
It is, and it depends what kind of brand you want to make. But like the how much it costs to make a perfume and how much you can sell it for, it's a good margin. But then years of marketing and just like everything else, it's lots of work. But David, what you're doing is cool because that's
not superior to all other gods. They're gods. I like to describe the God of the Bible, the Tanakh specifically, the God of war. And he wins. And sorry, my alarm went off. And so this what makes him all powerful. This is one of the attributes that makes him all powerful. That he's able to destroy one's kingdom while leveraging his own. He's pretty much. I mean, it doesn't get any complex than that. Like that's why he's known as God Almighty, because he's able to again win wars. You find something such as
Then after the Tanakh, Jerusalem falls, so he didn't win. The Romans won.
Well, here's the thing. Was that God's fault? Was that the people's fault?
I think God is man-made, so when you ask me that question, I'd filter it by if you're saying He's got to have a name, that's what Christianity is. So you think this story is a man-made king. Of course, they have a kingship because they think all the creatures come that's a shame. That doesn't make any sense if you believe in the Tanakh and God.
Then we're gonna have to
I
spend
keep
this
going
thing.
with questions.
Well, here's the thing, David. We're gonna have to spin this thing in another direction if we're talking about the Jews, because even the Jews admit that they're only converts. They're converts. Yeah, that's
The
gonna.
rabbinic,
That's what I'm.
rabbinic Judaism exists because the temple was destroyed. Is that
No,
what you basically say?
so when we're talking about the original people now, that's why I said it's gonna take another turn. Talking about the original people, and you're talking about the events that happened pertaining to the Holocaust. Well, that had nothing to do with the original people, and how God's supposed to keep His promise according to, His covenant made to the original people.
If the group that was supposed to have the covenant wasn't the Jews, who did it become by 1940?
Well, so your people who are Khazars, they're from the Huns clan. They're from the Georgia, Russia, Poland, Ukraine regions. Again, these people are only converts. So what happened to them? Again, it had nothing to do with prophecy.
Jews, there's Hebrews that were in a diaspora condition from the Crusades and pogroms and all the other things. You're saying that the only reason there were Russian Jews is some people in Russia decided to become Jews and they converted?
Yeah.
They didn't move there after fleeing somewhere else?
That's right.
That doesn't sound like that doesn't sound like it's not correct. Hi, Joanna. Maybe you have something to add.
Oh, all the Russians I know are Jewish. I never met a Russian that wasn't a Jew, but that's here in New York. Could be Christian, Russian Orthodox Christians.
Yeah, I agree. Provoking a thought. We were kind of trying to follow the existence of Jews not in the Levant, and you're saying that they're all converts, they're not immigrants.
Right.
I'm not aware Where do you get that?
So, I mean, there are literature on this,
Are you enjoying this, Manfinity? I'm playing a santur, by the way, which is a Persian percussion instrument.
Settlement of the planet tens of thousands of years ago. There's not a book that talks about it. It's ancient. So what informs your understanding of people? Keep it on mute unless you're about to talk. Can't tell what the background info is. So I'm just like, do you believe in evolution? Are humans animals? I mean, where do we start?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think you can find human DNA. Human DNA, animal or Neanderthal DNA inside of certain black people of
matter of fact, there's a paper written on this as well.
Put it in the chat, because I am interested in.
I'm driving. Yeah, so
No worries. I'll look it up for you. Do you know the search terms?
I don't, David. I only looked into.
I would say you shouldn't have these kind of pictures.
Why? You guys made it. Look at her face. It's so stoic. It's so sad.
What's up, man?
I'm gonna start preaching Christian Dawa to every room that I go in. I need to come up with a script.
Okay, that's it for the percussion instrument. Hope you enjoyed it. Candidate John. Also, don't forget to vote for Mark Rice for the 8th district. Go to Rice for Congress.
Solid script where I can start the conversation from anywhere and just go into my DAO. Any angle I can take it into the DAO script. I need to start working on that.
Yeah, there you go. Get some pointers from the Muslim man from Hebrew Israelites.
Bro, I'm telling you, we could be talking about politics, Trump has been doing all this. I'm like, but have you heard about Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, though? I mean, what you think about that?
No, we don't start.
Don't underestimate Dr.
What
Doom's
should be your
power.
opening statement?
That opening statement is lame. Start with the proper dialogue.
Don't underestimate Dr. Doom's power.
Don't take the Lord's name in vain.
No, but I'm saying he heard of our Lord and Savior. How else do you start it?
Yeah, Jesus Christ is the Lord and Savior.
Exactly.
But
Paid
they
for
don't
the sin.
ask. Yeah, when they're doing that, they don't ask questions. They just start preaching. They just start telling you their beliefs.
Bro, I need a way of making it. It needs to be so good that they can allow me to speak for 5 minutes uninterrupted.
That will never happen, bro. That will never happen.
Yeah, you trigger them.
They need to a good Dallas script because they can talk. But as soon
El
as
Normo.
they that Dallas script, they're going to be talking for the next 3 minutes uninterrupted.
Where in the world are we today? What are we listening to? I want to go in there.
It's not important what you're listening to, El Norma. What's important is that you read some Tanya Torah to refresh the mind.
I have the book right here. So after I go and troll in whatever room is being anti-Semitic, I'll read some of that. Fair?
No, you gotta read Tanya now. The now is all important. Rabbanu Shalom.
You know, yesterday was a celebration in honor of completing a cycle of reading Rambam.
The Maimonides.
Rabbi Moshe ben Maimonides.
Well, Ribono
baby.
Shalom.
Rambam, Moran.
Yeah, I have a bunch of Rambam books, and I haven't really spent enough time. But the one time that I did read it, I think I read it with that guy Zach Ruda on here, and it was eye-opening, like real wisdom. Those are the types of books I like. I can't believe people never ever touch wisdom books because they deal with intelligence and psychology. I have books on aphorisms and maxims, and when I read that, I'm just like, I know nothing. And I think that's the true meaning of the word fear of the Lord. It's because I know I'm really stupid when I read a really smart book.
You want to know something? Emerson says all learning is remembering.
Yeah, memory is the big. I mean, it's a little bit like you think because you've ridden a bike, you'll always know how to ride a bike. But when it comes to books, it's definitely like going to the gym every day, or if you can go to the gym every day, to me it's the same type of reception or consumption or ingestion or metabolism.
What was that room you were just listening to?
You don't want to go in there, El Normo. It's going to ruin your day. These people have been doing this for months. and months and months and months and months. It's a hypnosis. It's a hypnosis room. You don't want to go in there. Do you believe in hypnosis, Norma?
No.
You don't believe in hypnosis?
No.
Why not? I know friends that have done hypnosis and have had great results.
Oh, I wasn't sure which kind you meant.
Like therapeutic, to help people with their time management, everything. Yeah, whatever it is you want to work on.
No, I haven't. I don't know. I didn't even really think that it was very common right now.
Well, there's practitioners. You just go on Google and you type in hypnotist in your area, and there's people out there that will, provide you hypnosis service, and they're amazing, people because they understand communication. Have you ever heard me play the santur, El Norma?
What is that?
It's an Iranian percussion instrument. You want to see what it looks like?
Okay. I've heard you play it on sometimes.
Yeah, this is my Mozart instrument. And I got a piece of Andy Warhol artwork adorning it. Check this out. This is my new PTR. I want to dedicate this song to you, El Normo. What kind of blessings are you looking for, El Normo? Health, wealth, love, peace of mind, happiness, strength, joy.
Time management.
What'd you think? Yeah, I think I spent like $400 on this thing. It's manufactured in Iran, in Esfahan. So I made a mistake yesterday.
Do you use mallets, by the way?
Yeah, you use these tiny little wooden sticks with.
It's like a xylophone?
Yeah, it's called a santur. Same thing as a xylophone.
I once played in something called a Javanese gamelan. Have you heard of it?
No.
Okay, make a note. It's something you definitely want to know about. Gamelan. Gamalen. Or Game, either one. It'll come right up. It's an Indonesian orchestra, and it's mostly percussion, although there are a couple of stringed instruments. Very interesting, and it uses a slightly different musical scale. I think you would find it very interesting. It's what they used to play music in the background while they had their famous Indonesian shadow puppet plays. They're very big on shadow puppets.
So we've got a little bit of an audience going here, and I just want to point out that the basis of this room is the concept that there is not a speck of dust out of place in the whole universe. That destiny, fate, eternity, infinity, all these things tie into the presidents of the United States of America. It's a superficial understanding, I think, of a giant, metaphysical conundrum. But Blake, America, welcome to the room. It looks like you could have TDS. What's going on with your PTR, Blake?
Bienvenido, shalom. Bienvenu. Benvenuto.
That's shalom. Shalom, man. You got some nerve coming at me like that on Shabbat, my nigga.
Shalom. Today is not Shabbat, my half-wit colleague.
Oh no, that's it. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's. I ain't got no TDS syndrome, but I am very disappointed from all sides. I'm disappointed in the media, the left, who were not interested in this story for decades, who called people like me tinfoil hat wearing kook. And it's just like, dude, all these guys, man. But on the bright side, we might get a pedo bump in the polls. You know what I'm saying? Because I guess pedo is in now. Like, pedophilia, that's the new thing. For 2026, we're all in it. Everybody's in it. So, let's hope Trump gets a pedo bump.
All right, well, you've come on here now and you've used the N-word with the hard R. You've come on here and accused our great, glorious, patriotic president trying to save America, and called him a pedo. Is any of this projection, sir? Because I'm about to hit my projection alert bell system.
It might be, man. It might be. My cutoff line is 18, but,
Your cutoff line is 18. Well, good Shabbos, my N-word. Thanks for coming to Trump Hate Therapy Support Group. Is there anything else you'd like to submit to the Jewish Complaint Department while you're here?
I hope that we no longer use the N-word and we just whole thing. That thing, you gotta say the whole thing, bro. It's hard RC.
Okay, my N-word. Thank you. We will put that in your file with the JCD, the Jewish Complaint Department, my new nonprofit association here to help field complaints on Clown House, which I've renamed the Complainium. Welcome and thank you for making a submission. Anything else you want to submit a complaint about? Hello?
I think we covered it.
Oh, Cool C is here as well. Hey, Cool C. Anything you want to complain about, Cool C, as you drive your truck across America and your wife at home with her mental health issues? Anyways, just a joke, Cool C. Blake, anything else I can help you with here today? And Manfinity is, FYI, listening to the room. Thanks for being a part of this audience. And Mountain Man, thanks for being here. And everybody else who has tuned in. Brian, thanks for being here. This has been your Trump Derangement Syndrome Therapy Support Group. We're going to tune back into a bunch of people that are suffering from Trump Derangement Syndrome live, and you can hear them complaining about Donald Trump live.
If you want, he said, okay, Megatron. Listen to me. He said the Gospel of John is 1 John, 2 John, 3 John.
No, the Gospel of John.
No, it's not.
Okay,
No, it's not.
all right.
Now he's playing stupid.
No, the Gospel of John
He's not playing, he's really...
We cover it to lesser and greater extent. There's no human that has zero.
You say everybody has a little bit?
Has a little bit, yeah. This is called science. It's been measured.
So allow me, hold on. Allow me to look into this. Let's start before you. I have to move the conversation.
Okay. And you're right. Your signal quality is turning to shit. So I don't know, Miss Nancy, you've been here for almost all of it, and Royvis is here. I can't tell if Joanna's off the phone, but this is crazy.
And I've been listening to everyone.
Does anybody want to support this idea? I mean, provoking might be right. I might be the outlier here. I just think animals.
You're right.
Humans are animals. I know when I was a kid, I didn't understand it as deeply as I do now. But is this an outlandish idea I have that we are animals?
No.
All mammals are animals.
Not really.
If you put your eyes to it, okay, if I
said hey, I brought an animal to work, right? You wouldn't think I brought a human to work, right? So in that sense, there is a way we differentiate ourselves from animals.
Sure. I mean, in a loose reference, but from the life cycle, born, and not everything is born off of the way we get born, but born
And ignoring the
exists for eating, sleeping, and existing and behaving, and then at the end of it, you die, right? And then the life comes to an end. These are things that animals do. Rocks don't do them.
Yeah, look up the definition of animal. We fall into that category, but we also use it to differentiate ourselves.
Oh, it's concrete!
Yeah.
So I think there's.
Trent Reznor said, "Fuck me like an animal," right?
Well, yeah. Essentially, they do, right? Doggy style. Doggy style. David.
Go ahead, Elliot. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Any outdoor animal stuff. This is pretty common. This is pretty common, sort of, I don't know, intuition that people have. And I can understand why people kind of have. Some people have this intuition, people. We feel like there's some kind of qualitative difference between us, the humans, and the rest of the other life forms on the planet. And we want to be able to draw a distinction between them. And some people do that by saying they're the animals and we're not the animals. And there's lots of ways you can think about that, but I don't think that's what David and Provoking were discussing. I think they were discussing, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Provoking, I don't know. I'm sort of I think you guys are talking about something more basic fact about it has to do with science.
Yeah.
And what's how do we
Because Nancy, can I speak to you in private?
Provoking also saying that we didn't evolve from animals in any way whatsoever. He also this is actually incorrect. I guess I'll say another thing. I remember something Christopher Hitchens said, or something that was said about Christopher Hitchens. It was he was the product of billions of years of evolution, and he acted like it. But that's not the interesting. The interesting thing about that is there's this we are the product of billions of years of life just fighting tooth and fucking nail to survive in spite of all of the odds. That we're fucking awesome, dude. We are awesome fucking animals. Okay, that's something to be proud of. It's not something to like throw sweep under the rug.
Well, I'll agree with you there. I mean, I was trying to get to the timeline not being very well articulated by ancient texts that weren't informed by fucking geology, paleontology, biology, and germ theory. They didn't even talk about washing hands. Hey guys, sorry. Can I roll with what I was about to say? Sorry, I just came back in. Go on. Yeah, so maybe I'm stating the obvious here, but there's this weird sort of cyber-skepticism that I think is being expressed particularly even by provoking thought, and that's like I don't agree with, and I'm skeptical of the specialists, right? And this is a kind of common mindset that I think very intelligent people are exploiting in the government. I think Trump and his buddies really latch on to this sort of because, yeah, we've been lied to for sure, lots of times. But this mode of thought is really being exploited by some very intelligent people in Washington now, and I think that's why Trump got elected. He said the elections were rigged. His followers are like, yeah, of course they're rigged. We can't trust anything. So it's kind of sad. Don't you feel like a lot of a segment of the American population is being trolled? In Canada too, we get trolled as well, for sure. I just think the information space is highly subjected to information attacks, mostly to cause people to be polarized in discord with each other instead of in discourse. Yeah, but there is a better and less way of getting to the truth, right? If you want to find the truth of something, there's a very specific way of going about it. And what is the way to find truth? The specific way. Okay, I'll drop a link because I don't have it off the top of my head. I'm loosely familiar with it, but it's the critical thinking method, right? It builds up from very specific steps that you would take to get as close to the truth as you can. You may never arrive at the absolute truth, of course, like, how did the Big Bang happen, right? If you want to go back that far, nobody really knows. But there's more scientific and less scientific ways of figuring out what's true or not, for sure. I'll drop it in. So it's a really fantastic website, www.criticalthinking.org. And I apologize if I sound preachy.
Foundation for Critical Thinking, really fantastic site.
These people, the phrase for what these people are anti-intellectual nerds, the flat earthers, people like provoking, whatever his name is.
Yeah, and they're taken advantage of, and they're duped. Yeah.
Well, nothing we can do about that. Stupid is, stupid does.
I think one of the most important things is to split this difference between just being skeptical and then knowing why you're skeptical and understanding that thing. Like, there's no way that I could ever understand.
See, this is when he's throwing saying you're doing nothing burgers. This is another one.
All right.
We can do this. So we must be more learn between skeptical. Like, we can do this. They cannot do this. They're not going to become more critically thinking people in the near future. It's not going to happen, no matter what you say. Like, they're broken.
Education system.
Yeah, we can lament about it. Sure. There's people that can't be taken seriously. They shouldn't be having discussions with us. You know, it's just like they're not here to, like, it's not our job to educate them in the first place. That's the other thing. I don't know if Provoki's still there, but he said he was going into like a bad reception area, I think. I was just curious, like, why, I mean, is it true that thinking of humans as animals, does that, like, make you uncomfortable or something? Or, like, why do you have an issue with it? He's on the phone.
He's VHI, bro.
Maybe he said he was, well, whatever. Yeah, it sounds like a several ideas that are going to be hard to figure out what he really means. People are too defensive; they won't even share with you what they actually believe.
I don't know, Matthew might be right. Talking about like bloodlines and lineage and stuff like that. He thinks he has the direct lineage to Adam and Eve, which were never animals. That's why he thinks this way. It's very simple. He just won't admit it because it sounds stupid. Alright guys, I'm back. Can y'all hear me? Yeah, man. Go for it. Did you get my question or not?
Yeah, repeat your question.
No, I didn't hear your question. What was your question? I don't want to like relitigate the whole combo that you and David had. I was just curious, does thinking of humans as something other than is thinking of humans as animals, does that like bother you or make you uncomfortable, or do you just think it's like flatly false or something? No, it's just so I'm just somebody who questions everything now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I used to hold to that idea once upon a time, like some of y'all still do. Yeah, I'm just somebody who questions everything, man. I understand that, you know, we would never come to complete grips with what is truth. We are on a search for truth. We do the best that we can with what we got, and we argue from that position. But to say that we understand everything in its totality, I don't think no one, you know, can.
No one said we understand everything. So I have a problem with starting as tabula rasa or blank slate every new conversation with a new person. Shouldn't we have some kind of corpus of information, like algebra means algebra, calculus means calculus, fossils mean fossils, plate tectonics comes from geology, that we can build as we have prerequisite knowledge. We don't have to start from scratch and say, question everything, we're going to start over. The earth might be flat because it looks that way. Or do you have to start over every time? Because your book is the only thing you reload into your operating system.
Yeah, I think you know, it's not a bad thing. You have people that have paradigms all the time, but they find out that shit with everything that I accumulate for as and understanding that I thought was real, shit can get thrown out tomorrow based off of some new evidence.
Tell me when that has happened, when everything got thrown out. Not some things were revised and then little tweaks to the edges. Because what you're describing is questioning everything allows you to throw it all out and start picking, like from a menu. You're starting from the buffet of science.
Well,
and you're picking. Hang on, let me fucking finish.
Oh, bro, hey, we ain't doing that.
You can tell me how I get to speak.
I mean, don't talk to me.
Just let me finish. I wanted to finish.
Oh,
I wasn't referencing you. Just go on mute if you can't let someone finish without interrupting, because you derail the conversation. My point is, you shouldn't, just because you're a stranger, shouldn't mean that we're at the buffet and there's nothing you'll eat. These are pre-prepared. The dinner rolls are dinner rolls, the same ones that look like dinner rolls to you and me. Then tell me that you're not throwing everything out just to start with. I question everything. What do you start with?
Alright, so I'm gonna mute that. I don't know. That's the thing, man. I haven't gotten around to really just, I don't know, dig into something deep. For me, David, my paradigm started back in 2018, but even that have shifted. So I'm constantly getting new information. Like I'm what you would call like kind of unstable, and I'm searching. You know what I'm saying? So
What do you mean that you had a paradigm? What does that mean?
A change of heart, change of thought.
About what?
I once believed this, now I don't.
Which was what? You once what? What was it?
For example, when I was a Christian, I know, finding out certain things about Christianity. That's why I'm able to walk with you pertaining certain things. Finding out that Christianity, it's not the way, the truth, and the light. It's not the end all that be all. In my world, it once was. You see what I'm saying? So it's stuff like that, man.
Okay. Well, the Bible is full of nonsense. I mean, okay, good job. I figured that out when I was a teenager.
I wouldn't say the Bible is full of nonsense. In particular, I think Christianity.
I have a feeling you're still holding on to it. You can't quite get it out of your system.
Because I respect history. I think the Tanakh portion of the Bible is a people's culture.
It's not a history book.
There's history inside of that book.
Not really.
You said not
It
really.
mentions some places that did exist and some things that didn't exist.
Exactly. So there's something there. There's some validity there where we get
actual history.
Hold on, bro. Ain't your boy?
Why not you read an actual history?
Hold on, bro.
Book.
What are we doing?
He can assert what he wants.
I need you to answer my question.
So he can cut.
You're cutting him off before he finished.
I was speaking. He came off mic. What are you talking about?
It's not a fucking contest. We're trying to understand the simple idea.
You ain't gonna say that in my face, though. That's what I'm saying, bro.
Better raise your level of intelligence with me.
You ain't gonna say nothing.
My boy, knock your fucking stupid ass down, boy. You got it?
Boy.
Yeah. I talk to you like you need to be talked to. Alright? Stop being a dumbass. It's annoying.
You a bitch and you ain't gonna say none of that in my face, you fucking white
devil. Go fuck yourself, you stupid hood rat. Go fuck yourself. Fucking low class piece of shit.
You white devil.
See you later, bitch.
Yes. You guys are laughs. You piece of shit.
Okay. He was just here to deny reality. Whatever changed in his paradigm in 2018, I'd like to know, but I don't think it makes a difference. He just doesn't want to believe. It's just like the flat Earth path. Once they fall off the bike, they won't come back on the bike. Won't come back on the bike.
Anti-intellectualism's not a good thing, man. It's real bad.
We know. We don't. We're watching it happen in real time. That's fine. I don't think you'll be able to make it back in here. whole time he just wanted to start a race war. You can't work with everybody.
Oh, you still, you don't call a black man boy.
I did.
Not a fucking line. Brothers did.
Brothers did.
I think
That is true. I tell you that. That's right. I did it on purpose. I knew exactly the reaction I would get. It was calculated. Thank you very much. That's what he is. That's what he deserves to hear. He's like a living stereotype. It's fucking stupid. He needs to fucking grow the fuck up. And stop being a boy. And using his fucking ethnicity as an excuse, dumbass.
Hi, Alvin.
I think
Peace to all of you boys in the room. How y'all doing?
Peace to everybody.
I think some level of skepticism is healthy, and we should have some healthy skepticism. But skepticism can be unhealthy, and dangerous to us. Like you can't be so skeptical that you don't even believe that you fucking exist. Like there's some things that there's things that if you have too much skepticism, it's harmful. Like then you start if you start thinking like evolution is false, and then you go down into shit like, well, the vaccines don't work. There's like a racial genetic heritage. People are this or that because of their genes. It's just not good.
I actually will argue that's not skepticism. Because it didn't take a lot for them to be convinced of that. They saw a blog article and said, yeah, Earth is flat. Right? It only took that, so you're not even really a skeptic if that's the only thing it took for you to flip, right?
I feel like nobody explained to this fellow like the difference between being skeptical on one hand and then which is kind of good, but then also that there are specialists and there's a reason they should be trusted.
I think that guy was I think he was about to explain why he was no longer a Christian and why he's, looking at the Hebrew Israelite stuff. I think that was where he was going.
The conversation looked like it was about to go somewhere kind of decent. Like, he said history in the Bible. I think all ancient texts are history to a degree. Now, the point of them, like the content in the text might not be history, but if you get a religious text from the 3rd century, that is at least letting you know what some people in the 3rd century thought, right? So you can draw out some history from any ancient book, depending on the context you're looking at.
Just because shit was written down in the past doesn't mean it's true.
I didn't say that.
I didn't say anybody said that.
You can do that for fucking comic books, dude. Like in Spider-Man, I don't know why I always have to keep saying it's like in Spider-Man, like there are real buildings in New York City. New York City is a real place. There are depictions of real buildings. Spider-Man comics, there are real people there. That doesn't mean that we should think that the narrative is true.
Well, I don't think anybody, I won't say anybody, but the argument of that isn't necessarily made. But even in that comic book where you have Spider-Man at 9/11, even though that's a comic book, it is talking about something that actually happened in real history. Like 2 planes did go into the towers. It's just that comic book puts Spider-Man in there. But there's actually real history.
Yeah, but Alvin, if your entire worldview was built around a comic book, you're a fucking idiot. That's the greater point, right? You understand?
I don't think ancient texts are equivalent to comic books because I don't think.
Much of mythology is nonsense. I'm not gonna follow a fucking Bronze Age mythology book. What are you out of your mind?
I think comic books, and even if we call them mythology, serve 2 different.
Oh my god. You don't think the Bible is full of mythology? You think talking things, talking donkeys exist?
I don't think you're
fucking child.
You're not trying to engage with what I'm
Are you serious, dude?
I'm trying to.
I'm talking to a grown-ass man to address me similarly. Don't insult my intelligence, dude. You believe in talking donkeys, dude?
Are you okay?
Do you?
Like, I'm just.
You believe in talking donkeys? If I talk like this, would that be
I
good?
just want to make a simple point. I mean, I don't know where all the animals is coming from.
Do you believe in talking donkeys?
No.
Yes or no?
Now listen. No.
Now listen, you can't answer it, right?
Roy, that's the answer. Roy, that's the answer. Let's just say, ask it differently. I thought when people are taught about books, try not to introduce religion too early. That there's fiction and nonfiction. The Bible seems to me like a series of multiple books. It's almost like a library of hang on, man-made stories that weren't in our present day understanding of what history is and facts. They didn't have videos they could go watch after something happened. So they lived in an oral tradition. It's the beginning of writing. So understanding that, what kind of book is it? Is it fiction? Non-fiction?
I think it's a religious text, right?
Which would be fiction or non-fiction? Is it a documentary?
It is not a documentary and it's not historical. It is religious. Now, I would love to explain. I only need 20 seconds, right? So, I think the difference between religious texts and comic books is that they serve two different purposes. Comic books.
We understand it. Elliot was just making an analogy. You don't need to go into this fucking diatribe about comic books, dude. Like, what are you doing?
He said they serve two different purposes, and he seems to be on the phone. The purpose served by a fiction doesn't matter. It doesn't change it into being a non-fiction. The purpose served by a Disney story doesn't make it true. Who cares what the purpose is?
The following story is not for educational purposes, but for purely entertainment purposes.
Well, it's a fucking tragedy because, a lot of African American folks had their history stolen from them, kind of, quite literally.
I think it's their liberty. They still possess their history.
Yeah, it was, you get what I'm saying, a lot of connections and things were stolen, and then that's shitty. And another thing is, one last thing, is there are some communities in the United States with lack of, not the best education systems. And so it's a twofold thing where people really want to learn about their past and history, and then they're also not, some communities aren't given very clear critical thinking education. Yeah. I sound like an asshole saying that, but...
So, take Jesus out of the stories and insert Spider-Man. It'd be the same thing. Spider-Man walked on water. Spider-Man turned water into wine, and Spider-Man was dead and was resurrected. There we go. And then put Jesus in the Spider-Man comics. Walked around fighting the crime with its ability to have them drink wine versus water, and they were drunk and they were able to be apprehended more easily.
Yeah, but I think the Bible and something like Spider-Man comic books, they share something in common with each other that is real, that is like real and practical in our everyday lives, and that we should look at those things. Those are the moral lessons that you can draw from them. Probably the greatest moral lesson from Spider-Man comics is just the idea of power. With great power comes great responsibility. That's like a moral idea that we can apply in our everyday lives. And the Bible has lots of stories like that. But that doesn't mean that the stories are true. It's just not.
Yeah, Hero's Journey. Fucking, what's his name? Joseph Campbell. sort of thing. Well, David, I think we stumbled onto something, a solution or a proposal of some sort of change related to conversations earlier is, yeah, I mean, if the Democrats are, when they get back in power, an ideal thing would be to enact and bring in critical thinking classes for kids at a young age. And then, as well, maybe do like Australia is doing and don't allow for kids under 16 to partake in social media. You know, in those years, before 16 years old and younger, they should be developing as much armor.
Totally get it, but how do you regulate the U.S. tech?
I don't know.
We tried to get them to outlaw TikTok, and Trump wouldn't let it go because, you know, it's one of his veins into the whatever uneducated or whatever he says, the lowly educated. And then it was not even after it was enforced as a law, it wasn't executed. So yeah, we don't do any limitations on things. It's a Wild West scenario with parents not equipped with any tools because we're not asking these people to give them the tools. While it's the Wild West, children are objectified and extracted. The shittification will continue. My kids, they're both in 6th grade, and they cannot use their devices while at school. But that's the school saying, don't bring that shit in here. Has nothing to do with whether parents grant the kid 12 hours of fuck around time when they get home.
So I have like 10 actual friends. Like, I can't handle people. Like, everyone is so fucking stupid. It's just scary, man. And my friends are really fucking smart, so I get tricked into thinking that's what most people are like, and then I come in this app and it's like, oh my god. It's so bad. Reasonably intelligent. I'm like, I should be average. I don't get it. I don't know shit about math or physics. I'm an idiot.
You know a little bit about physics and sound. Did you watch the Grammys or?
No,
that's not your jam, but pay attention.
That's another example. I just can't get through terrible music and people put themselves on their back in terrible albums that win statues. And I have statues, so I'm allowed to say that. So, you know, I'm like deep into the whole Grammy world, you know. It's like, that's another thing. I'm not good at schmoozing. It's probably my problem.
Well, award shows are popularity contests, right? So if you're into the art and the work, the award shows are just for entertainment and, you know, a sorting of aesthetics mostly.
That's just not the kind of thing I want to waste my time with. Whatever pop shit people are into, which is just boring to me.
Alvin, do you think God has desires?
I think God would hate, if God existed, he would really hate the human race. I mean, what's there to like? What is there to like?
I was asking Alvin because he's a God believer.
I think he's on the phone.
Oh.
I was filling in for Alvin.
Good job.
That's exactly what he would say.
I think if we make it through and AI is leveraged for good, then we could live in a world where people are very logical and empathetic and well behaved and all the sorts of good things.
What makes you think AI is going to change people's behavior?
Yeah, so
They have the concept of this, this deity that will strike you down with vengeance at your time of your judgment day, and those people still misbehave.
yeah, probably for the very reason you stated. I don't know. It's a very broad concept, and it's not at all practical. But if governments actually wanted to create very stable societies where everybody's wealthy and all these sort of positive promises that a lot of the companies are making, world without work, okay. If they can just concentrate on positive information, accurate information, non-divisive information, I think people's behavior is we go off of monkey see, monkey do. Like, we just reflect the information that's given to us. And if governments wanted to create high trust societies, I think it can be done. I think it can be done with the control of information. If that's what they want.
It's like just
sorry.
The AI. I think AI is like there's a sense where AI is just no different than like the internet or Kitover, printing press or whatever. Because the printing press, like what you get from the printing press are things like Mein Kampf. Mein Kampf was written by Adolf Hitler while he was in prisons, and then it was printed and distributed to lots of people. And that's an evil fucking book.
Yeah,
it's an evil fucking book. Okay. And then, so the internet kind of does like the same kind of thing. It can spread, or like the press is also at least indirectly responsible for like the spread of the writings of like Aristotle and Shakespeare. So you got these two kind of extremes on both sides, and that's true for the printing press. That's true for the fucking internet. That's true, and that's also true for AI. AI has like, you guys know what I'm talking about. I don't have to go into all the bad shit.
Yeah, good and bad, both. Yeah, good and bad.
Okay, I'm back now. So, all I was saying is that when it comes to religious texts and comic books, I think there's two different goals, right? Where the comic book is made purely for entertainment, while religious text is like trying to give instructions to a population of like morality and stuff.
That's not true. I think the first edition of Captain America was a World War II propaganda piece. It has Captain America punching Hitler right in the fucking face. Issue number 1. So comic books are used for more than just entertainment.
I didn't say you can add other stuff, but the primary purpose of comic books is entertainment. It's considered to be a part of the entertainment industry. While religious text seems to be like giving groups of people, hey, these are the values we live by, and we're going to have stories that reflect these values that we're trying to promote. So I think
you can use comic books to change perceptions of reality, ideology. You can use ideas through comic books.
You can use any piece of literature for more than its primary.
What does it matter what the original is?
So what I'm saying,
both end up doing the same thing.
I'm saying the primary purpose.
What does it matter what the primary purpose is?
It matters if we're going to categorize these things. Like a historian wouldn't tell you.
Look, I'm categorizing the Bible and comic books are both fiction. That's how I'm categorizing them, okay?
Okay, but not all fiction is of the same genre. Like a murder mystery.
I didn't say it was.
Nobody said it was. It doesn't change from being fiction.
Are you from the South? What's going on, dude?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know why you're so amped up.
Because I don't want to be mansplained to. I'm another man. I know all this shit already, dude. I fucking live 40 more lives than you have. You fucking out of your gourd? Are you talking to me like this? It's fucking insulting. Okay, bro, me. It's fucking insulting.
Hey, Roy, man, you're being harsh today, bro.
Well, what the fuck? What else am I supposed to do? What do you like put my kid gloves on? Oh yeah, little Alvin. That's really profound what you just said. Wow, I'm so impressed with you. Good little kid. Here's a pat on the back, Alvin. You're so smart.
Yeah, so Alvin, so yes, the religious text is supposed to guide people. However, it's based upon stuff that's not true. Well, why would we take it serious?
You take it serious for the same reason people take the tortoise and the hare story serious, right? That did not
control people. That's the primary purpose, Alvin. Did you ever figure that out?
I was talking
You're
to
so smart, right? Did you ever learn that?
The only person that says style is you. I didn't say anything about my intelligence level. So
you're mansplaining down the shit to me, so you must think you're really fucking smart. You must think you have something to impart to me. You must think you're more knowledgeable than me.
He just asked me a good question. I'm trying to answer his question. It's a good question. I'm saying like
it's rhetorical. You don't need to answer it.
Was it rhetorical, Jason?
Yeah, it was rhetorical.
You want me to answer it?
No.
Ruin this. I don't know what's going on.
We don't need to hear you fucking blab on like an idiot.
But he
bring it over. You said
question.
You're not interesting. You're boring. Stop.
Well, is it okay for me to talk to JCC?
Why do you want to talk? Was I want to hear your own voice? Like, are you
learning
something here?
Roy, let's see if addressing it. Were you back and forth? Yeah, you guys can go back and forth. I just was getting lost in my interest between who cares if there's different kinds of fictions. A fiction is a fiction. It's explicitly written by the author with no valence towards being accurate.
But David, some books are red on the outside and others are blue on the outside. Some have a hardcover.
Well, maybe they can pick up from there. So you and JCC engaged.
He said, "Why?"
Understood.
Right. So I would say for the same reason, the tortoise and the hare story is taken serious, right?
Where it's like these are parables.
I'm almost there. So nobody believes there was a historical race between the tortoise and the hare, or the grasshopper and the ant. Like, nobody believes those were historical, but those stories reflect certain principles that a lot of people will take serious.
That's a very simplified thing that expresses one principle. It's not the Bible. You can't compare them.
The problem with religion is people take it seriously, though, right? Yeah.
Matthew, if you're going to get me interrupted.
I'm about to land. I'm just going to land it. So when it comes to the Bible, there's actually a lot of Catholics and Jews that don't believe any of the text is historical, but they believe the authors wrote it to reflect certain values and principles, and they use these characters, who they'll even say are fictional, as devices to highlight certain points. So there's people that take the Bible seriously who don't even necessarily believe it's historical. That's why I said it's kind of a different genre. That's what I'm saying.
People can take things a different way. We were asking about whether it's true or not. Go ahead, JCC. You wanted to...
Well, yeah, it was about because it can't be demonstrated to be true. I still stand on why I take it seriously. I get it's a mechanism to, i.e., control the masses and get people to conform, and that's kind of the main point of it, as far as I understand it. So yeah.
Yeah, if everyone follows that book, everyone is more predictable. They all have the same morals, be easier to control. There's a lot of utility to it.
Well, sure. Government is made to control. We have a government in order to control the society.
That's not enough. We want to control how people think, how they feel, and what they do in their private time. That's where the all-knowing, all-seeing God comes in.
I don't think control in itself.
You don't think, Alvin? Well, that's really interesting. What you don't think is true doesn't inform what I think. You haven't demonstrated to me you have anything interesting to say this whole time.
Started as AI, 1984.
Just having a conversation.
So you think the Bible is true, Alvin? There's truth in there, like the talking dogs.
I think there's truth in the Bible. I don't think everything is historically accurate.
What truth is in the Bible?
Owning slaves, is that true?
That happened, so that's true.
What happened?
Owning slaves happened, so that's
Sure. Okay, yeah, I'll grant you there are a lot of true geographical locations. Some of the events are true, like owning slaves. Other than that, what else is true in the Bible?
Well, a lot of that stuff, the Babylonian exile, the Assyrian deportation, King Hazazel defeating Joram, Misha defeating the Israelites, Hilkiah the prophet found his coin, him finding the book of the law.
How do you know he found a coin? What are you talking about? How's it history? This has been verified by archaeology or something? What are you talking about?
Yeah, if you look up Hilkiah the priest, you can find his coin that they found. Right?
Okay. So I need to change my whole lifestyle around to follow this book now? Get this fucking coin.
I made no such argument.
Why are people still talking about this stupid book?
I'm just
Why are we
saying-
talking about Gilgamesh all the time?
Well,
What's the difference?
it's just a conversation. Look, there's a story.
You're not telling me this is a conversation like Alvin. You're not that smart, dude.
Why are you saying that as if I said I was?
So the relevance of these two parts, what's the relevance of these parts that are true? Like, what do these true statements do? Like,
It depends. The relevance depends on who's saying it. Now, if you're a historian in the Near East, then they are relevant to there. You're trying to get a framework of what's going on here at that time, right?
Some assholes found a coin. Like, so what? Like,
If you're like a historian, archaeologist, and you find a coin that says Hilkiah the priest, then okay, that's relevant to you because that's in your field of study, right? So it depends on who we're talking about in terms of relevance.
Although I am new to this app, are there any Christian who need to ask a question?
This is gonna be fun.
Hello, is there any Christian here for me to ask?
Alvin, are you a Christian?
I don't think that word accurately defines what I am anymore.
Oh,
I'm sorry, somebody.
Yeah, it's a very old book from a time when most people weren't illiterate. You should follow your whole life to it, okay?
Mr. Badger of the Honey, I don't know any Christians in here to ask you a question.
Somebody who thinks they are saved by
I found a book that written like 4 billion years ago, and it's really dumb, and I think that you should follow it.
I was saved by a doctor. Does that count, Mr. Badger of the Honey?
Yes, are you?
The doctors are devil.
Alvin, do you pray? Alvin, do you pray?
I don't know. Honey Bear looked at
You don't know if you pray.
It's just comedy, Alvin. It's comedy.
Yeah, I'll just do you pray?
What he said?
Do you pray?
Yeah, I pray.
So what does that mean?
What does that mean? Say that last part. Your mic's kind of low.
Oh, sorry, I'm trying to be quiet, neighbors. What's going on there? Like, what do you do? Maybe you do that.
You make my cell phone levitate. I'll set it down right now. You pray, make it levitate.
Yeah, like, what are you trying to achieve when you do that? I'm just curious.
Communicate with the deity I worship.
Okay, and so when you worship him, does he like respond to you?
Dreams.
So
Psychological phenomena. You know.
You pray. Does that mean like you speak quietly to him?
Yeah, I pray. Pray.
I don't know. Look, I'm asking you. So pray quietly. You speak quietly in your head, or what? What does that mean?
It doesn't necessarily have to be quietly. You pray, talking to the deity.
And does he not know what you're thinking already? Is that kind of the state of affairs? He doesn't know what's going on.
I think he moves his lips quietly to the thoughts that he's thinking.
He doesn't know what's going on.
I don't know. I just know that's what I do.
Maybe I'll have things going on though. Like, why would you pray if you think like if you don't know if he knows what's going on?
It's something that said, hey, you should pray, so I pray. Whether he knows exactly what's going on or not,
Do you expect us to accept this?
No, you don't have to accept it at all.
Well, yeah, but you don't expect us to, right?
No, I don't.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Well, you understand the line of reasoning, Honey Badger is asking that, right? From the eternal critique of those who hold the God they believe in is all-knowing, right? So if this God is all-knowing, then all the events that are going to occur cannot change, cannot be anything other than what they are. So what's the purpose of praying for something to come out different, do you think it's going to do anything?
I don't believe he is all-knowing in that strict of a sense. I think he knows a lot, but based on what we see in the text, there's some times where it appears that he was caught off guard a couple times. So
That's called a
I don't
contradiction.
know if all-knowing would be in the omni sense, like in the most strictest sense of all-knowing. I don't know if I would describe it as that.
That's Enigma. How's it going?
Hello. Is he all powerful?
With all the omnis, my position is the same. I would not relegate him to the strict specificness of all powerful and all that. I don't think that's the case. I think he's powerful, but he's knowing, but
So was Jesus lying when he said, with God all things are possible?
no.
Oh, okay, so he is all powerful then.
But do I think he was meaning in the strict sense of that? I don't think so. And based on how you read those stories, even if we don't believe those stories are true, whoever wrote those stories have certain elements there where it looks like God didn't know something, or he was caught off guard, or he regretted something. If they really believed he was all-knowing in the sense we're talking about, they wouldn't have written stories in there where it looks like he's caught off guard a couple of times. So, yeah.
Where was the God caught off guard?
I mean, the flood. Like, he made all these people and said, man, these people are terrible. Let me do a do-over. If they really felt he was all-knowing, that story would not exist. They wouldn't even put it in there. All right? So, then the people that wrote this book did not have, they thought he was the most knowing probably, but the idea that he knew everything at all times is not reflected in the stories these authors wrote.
But you believe them to be true?
I believe the message of the stories to be true.
But you
not
don't believe
necessarily
the story
that
is
all
true?
of them are historically happening. I don't believe all of them are necessarily historical.
Can God read the minds of people?
Yeah, I think he can test the hearts and minds of people. Now,
No.
what is the
Does he
extent?
know what's going on in the brain?
I don't know exactly.
Then why do you pray?
What does it mean to be an omnipotent God?
Yeah, how can God hear you if he can't hear inside your brain? Why do you pray? You're not communicating with him then, are you?
Like, people do that all the time. Like, they're not even. I mean, people like do this thing where they will just speak into the void, you know. And
have you tried sacrificing a goat?
Necessarily God believers.
Have you tried like sacrificing a large like livestock? You really like to know that.
I actually have. Well, it's not a sacrifice, but when I was living on the farm, you know, I did sacrifice or slaughter some goats.
And did you burn it?
Yeah,
God wants to burn it.
It's kind of a weird experience. You know, you have this goat you're playing with, and then you eat it like the next day.
That's crazy, I know. Did you burn it?
I mean, to cook it.
So you had to burn it like on an altar.
No, it wasn't like a sacrifice. I was just being tongue-in-cheek.
I'm saying maybe try that. That might get his attention. Because very few people do that now.
Well, I'm not a Levite, so only Levites are allowed to do that. I'm not a part of the priesthood order, unfortunately. But yeah, maybe if I run to a Levite somewhere around here.
So there's a commandment in the Bible that says that only they are allowed to do sacrifices?
Levites were in charge of sacrificing animals at the temple. You know, so
anyone can sacrifice an animal.
No, but the Levites were in charge of guarding the Ark of the Covenant. That's all they were in charge of.
Part of the temple and part of the conducting sacrifice. Now, prior to the Levitical priesthood, obviously people like Abraham was getting the sacrifices and stuff like that. But it seems like afterwards, everything went through the temple system. Right? If you wanted to sacrifice and bring it up there almost as evidence that you are in alignment to show the priest, yes, I am doing my sacrifices as the Bible says. So it's almost evidence of proof to the priesthood that, hey, you're doing this. So, but I might try that, Roy. I might actually do that. See what happens. I'll tell you about it. You want to join me? Would you join me if